Hi everybody, Shannon Petrovich with Therapist Talks. Why can't I get motivated? Why do I feel so lazy? Why can't I accomplish anything? How can I become more of a self-starter? In this video, we'll address these questions and give you some clear steps to get your life going and on a steady course for success. We're not going to spend a lot of time on the whys, not that those aren't important, but at times people get stuck analyzing things instead of just getting busy working on solutions. So we're just going to jump into the steps to getting unstuck. The first step is getting a journal. It can be a spiral binder from the grocery store or a Word file on your computer. It doesn't matter. You just need to be able to write down everything we're going to work on, as well as your progress each day, each week, each month. Number 2, the first thing you'll want to do in this journal is to vent out your frustrations. It's okay to cuss, rant, rail, whatever. You just want to get it out. You can rave at yourself, at your parents, at the government. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be rational or reasonable or even appropriate. Just unload it all. This is your current miserable self letting it all go. And it's an important step, so don't neglect it. Number 3, now I want you to write out your long-term goals. These don't have to all be reasonable either. They can be as much dreams as anything else. Where do you want to be in 5 years, and what do you want to be doing? Let your imagination wander and let it free. Number 4, now write a shorter list of long-term goals that are doable and that you want to commit to. Be really specific and concrete. These are things you want to accomplish and that you can actually see yourself doing. Number 5, chunk those down into shorter term goals. What would it take to get to your long-term goals, and what do you need to accomplish each year to get to that 5-year goal? 6, now make a clear list of what you can do this month to move towards those goals. Be clear, specific, and really hammer out what it will take this month to move you in that direction. Number 7, now look at what you can do each day this week to move towards those monthly goals. This may be a lengthy list, including applying for jobs, creating a resume, looking at schools, tech schools, specific work goals, contacting old employers for references, researching careers that you might be good at or find inspiring, volunteering at a place to see if that work might be interesting for you. Be clear and specific. And number 8, these goals will be the driving force behind the rest of what we do, so spend time on this project. Turn off your technology and take time for yourself. The next thing to do, it's time to structure and balance your life. So we're going to create a weekly schedule. You can get all Excel sheet about this, or just draw it out in pencil, or even better, create a whiteboard in your room that you can fill in and color code. In general, the people who ask these questions that inspired this video fall into a couple of categories. For some, they're in self-created careers and are struggling to keep self-motivated and meet their goals for their work from home. While for others, their lives are relatively empty. They're not working, or they're working below their potential. They're not socially involved, they're not physically active, and are not pursuing school or struggling to not drop out. It's important to honestly assess your state of being at the current moment. And as you start into this structure that you'll create, imagine a life that you would feel good about. What would create some meaning and purpose and sense of forward movement and progress? We don't make changes all at once, but we have to be able to imagine the positive possibilities in order to begin to map out the way to get there. So now plug in a schedule that creates a daily structure for you. And it has to have a bunch of things in it. So first, put in the things that are solid. So if there are any of those kinds of things, work, school, commuting time, or other things that don't change. Number 2, start to fit in the things that you have been neglecting. Study time, applying to school that will help you get to where you want to go, spending time creating or developing an idea, or taking care of work, or just taking care of yourself. What are the things that you know you've neglected? Plug those things into your schedule. Number 3, if you're not working or not going to school, it's important to put as many hours a day into your job or school search as you would working. Often people search a few minutes here and there, but it really takes a solid morning and a solid afternoon every single day until you get that job or school nailed down. Don't short this process, dedicate yourself to it and do it. Number 4, as a general rule, when working on anything from home, work for an hour and take a 10-minute break, and work for 4 of those hours with those 10-minute breaks, and then take an hour off for lunch. This should be consistent throughout your work time. Working less than an hour leads to too much distraction and inefficiency. It takes an average of 11 minutes to get on track with something. So if you're distracted, it takes you 11 minutes to get back on track, focused on it again. So eliminate distractions during that hour of work. Working more than an hour without a break or working through lunch is too much, and you'll then want to quit altogether. Get into a rhythm of this work-break cycle so that at each break you really have accomplished something. So during each of those 10-minute breaks and during your lunch hour, make sure that you walk around, turn on some music, drink some water, stretch, walk outside, talk to somebody or your dog or whatever. You can really give yourself a brain break. Do not play video games, turn on the television, surf the web, do any of those things. The reason being is that you can't break free after 10 minutes, and it isn't giving your brain the break it needs. So when that 10 minutes is up, go back to work. Number 5, when you tackle some things on your list, always check them off. So it feels good, and you're training yourself to keep adding new things and checking them off. This is a self-supporting thing, as you feel a sense of accomplishment and progress each time you check something off. Number 6, anytime you struggle with internal arguing or feeling unmotivated, go back to your bigger goals and remind yourself you've got to tackle each smaller goal to get to the bigger one. You can even go back to your rant and remind yourself of your misery when you were completely stuck. Keep your perspective on one day at a time, but also on the bigger picture. So this twofold focus really helps you not get overwhelmed and helps you stay in the here and now, while also reminding yourself of the bigger picture of why you're doing it. Number 7, remember to take care of all of you. Our minds don't function well if our bodies don't feel well. Assess your physical health. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating healthy or unhealthy? Are you abusing drugs and alcohol? Do you get any time in nature, outdoors, exercise? If you want to know the science of this, watch the video on JOMO, The Joy of Missing Out. If any of these areas needs work, patch time for those things into your schedule. Time to make healthy meals, time to exercise, time to sleep at night, getting to bed before midnight on a consistent basis, and getting up before 9 a.m. I often find that people struggling with these issues have become nocturnal, staying up most of the night and sleeping most of the day. We're just not wired to do well with that kind of schedule. It messes up our brain chemistry, actually, and saps our energy and motivation. If you want to improve your life, you will really have to address this and conquer it. So now you've got a normalized sleep-wake schedule and a schedule and structure for each day of the week. You've balanced your activities, you're moving towards your goals, and you're beginning to see some progress. How do you keep the momentum going? Journal your weekly progress at the end of each week. Note where you are strong and where you've struggled. Note the things you've checked off and the things you've avoided. Make new goals and commitments for the next week, and then make a new structure for that week, fitting in all the new goals and the new focus and the new commitments. Give yourself an internal celebration victory dance over even the smallest baby steps you've made. Recognize the small victories as well as the big ones. Be a positive self-coach, not a negative self-condemner. We really don't do well with that type of berating and degrading sort of internal talk. It's not productive, it's very discouraging. Keep bolstering yourself from within and don't give up. Tell yourself you did some things well and you need to keep working on some other things, and you'll get up that mountain one step at a time. If you appreciated this video, please like, please subscribe to this channel so we'll notify you of future videos. Please take good care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you again soon.